being
Something I
one with
never opened up to anybody except
Lacey.
my therapist.
Oh, there.
That's something I literally only told my therapist.
Yeah, and that's rough, and so for you to be able to, like s
Have relationships with
Mhm.
them now,
Yeah,
and
that's a
like
lot of, that's
there's this
on your
buried.
woman. You you never know, you could look at anybody down the street, and they coulda had the same experience or even worse.
Everybody has demons. You can't see
Yeah,
them.
but I think that I watch so many true crime documentaries and shit where I have, like, thoughts of, "Damn, like, I know how to murder somebody and get away with it." Like, I
So we're gonna play How Deep Will You Go? How to play, you start by splitting each level and the wild cards into their own piles. Okay, the person who wanted to play the game will be player A, and then player A will draw level 1 cards, and you will begin from there. So the way I do it is just I just fucking pick up the cards randomly, and then
I'm glad that works for me.
the rules.
Well, I'm the only one answering, right? Dig deep, seek discomfort. Okay,
That's the rules.
gotcha.
Um, I usually
Oh,
do this
focus.
evening.
Okay. Okay.
What the hell is that fucking
Mm.
alien invasion sound?
Oh, oh,
Like,
Eric Mark Fish tip.
why
Eric Mark Fish tip.
is it making that sound?
Because the water, cycles. Then you
All
got a
right,
little hobby.
so this is my hobby and video games.
All right, buddy.
Uh, how's these backwards? Okay, so level 1 is icebreakers. What has life taught you recently?
Oh, no. I would say recently I've had to learn how to be more tough, I guess, with my emotions. Basically, I've learned that you cannot control people. You just have to react to other people's actions, and that can determine, um, your mood going forward. So, like, you can choose to have a positive reaction versus, like, dwelling on it or letting something upset you. Like, you're allowed to feel upset, um, but it's your choice to kind of drag it on or not. Um, I guess I'll get a little personal. For example, this weekend, um, I invited mom. It's like, "Oh, it would be really nice to have a breakfast." Like, take. I was even gonna pay for everything. Just all she had to do was show up. And this was like 4 or 5 days prior. I was like, "Hey, like, this is the day. This is the time. We got to be kind of punctual because Chris had to be at work by a certain time." And then even up until the night before, I reiterated. I was like, "Hey, like 8 o'clock. Be there at 8 o'clock." And mind you, the place is like half an hour away drive. So I texted her. It's like 7:30. Like, "Hey, you on your way?" She's like, I'm just chillaxing. I'm just lounging on the couch." And I'm like, "What is going on?" Like, so basically, I expressed to her that I hurt my feelings, and she just gave me excuse after excuse after excuse. And she's like, "Well, I invited your auntie, and they were just like taking their time." And like, just basically, it was just a slap in the face almost. Um, but I told Chris, I was like, "Hey, like, I said my piece." I was like, "Hey, mom, that hurt my feelings. Like, I hyped my kids up." It's like, "Hey, we're gonna have breakfast with my mom." And they got disappointed. And then in my head, I kind of wanted to go like ghost mode with mom for a little while just to cool down.
Mm,
When I decided not to, because I said, "You know what? Like, it's not worth it. I don't want to be awkward. I don't want to have tension." It's just like, "Hey, I didn't get to spend
I
quality
think you're
time."
just I think you're learning what I learned many moons ago about why y'all always say like oh, you don't even cry, you're cold, you're this, you're that. Like, no, I
You
process
process a lot
emotions.
quicker.
I just process them fucking like if I feel something, I fucking feel it. Like I
Yeah,
don't try to put it away. I I fucking
but
feel the
it's just you
shit.
don't dwell on that shit and let it like, moving
Yeah, and then I
forward.
don't dwell on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I move forward.
I mean,
That's
like, and
why
sure, it's my
y'all are
fault,
like, "Oh, like
but
you need to fucking
my thing is that
schedule a cry or something."
I at least want to tell her, let her know that this is how I feel, and she can choose how to react. You know what I mean? She can be empathetic or she could choose to make an excuse. That's on her. I can't control that. Yeah, I would like some kind of validation or some kind of like, oh, like she didn't apologize, nothing. She's just like, oh, your auntie. She literally blamed it on stereotyping that I guess Filipinos are always late. That's not like okay, so what? Like, you knew we had a time planned, like, if you were
Nah,
inviting
you can
somebody.
learn. That's a skill. You
Yeah,
can
but I'm
learn to
just
be
saying,
early.
she's trying to validate
Justify it.
her mistake and yeah, like,
Yeah.
justify it, and I'm just like, that's not a real excuse, but moving on, like,
So you were
I went and just had enjoyed my time with my kids and my husband
yeah.
and, moving on, like, I'm still civil with mom, like, yeah, I have, like, this thought in the back of my head where it's like, I don't even wanna invite her to anything anymore because of that, like, expectation of, like, I'm gonna be let down, but I'm always gonna attempt, you know what I mean? And that just reflects her if she decides to continue that pattern, but either way, like, I still love
Yeah,
and appreciate mom, like, I'm not
I
gonna
think for
hate her.
you it's just integrity is important for you.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
definitely that my most recent lesson in life is just like I'm learning how to process my emotions in a more positive manner. Like I'm not trying to like drag them on because that
Yeah.
actually makes me feel worse. I don't like that's my internal struggle. So mom doesn't know my internal struggle. You already know the conversation, the text messages we had where she has like no fucks given as far as like our opinion and how we feel. And that's just her, like,
Yeah.
she's old of age, like, you can't teach an old dog a new trick, like, she's
You
just like
can.
but does that it doesn't justify it.
You can, but
'Cause
they have to want it.
her saying it's like, "Take me as I am, take me or leave me." So what if we choose to leave you? Then you get all butthurt, and
Nah, you can. You just have to
but
um
that's not our job, that's her job as an individual
you
to
have to want
become
to change.
self-aware. Yeah,
Yeah.
to know that, "Hey, my actions are affecting my kids, it's making them feel XYZ," like,
Yeah.
that's
I
not
think
something
no
she'll book
matter
off
your
of.
age, doesn't matter how old you are, you do have certain biological like lock-ins where like
Yeah,
some of your programming is
everything is changeable, like, you just
but
gotta
yeah.
effort in. You gotta want it bad enough. I know that, you could literally relapse in like the way you process things. It's like I've been doing that, like you said, I'm a naturally pessimistic person, but I'm trying to rewire my thoughts. But it's not 100%. Like I'm not always going to be like, oh, like I'm gonna be positive all the time. So it's just like, hey, I'm in control of my own emotions and go from there. Like, I'm not gonna let someone else, like, drag me down or let me be upset for, like, the rest of the week or, like, how Michael is, like I don't even know he can't even talk to Michael in states or still, and that's, like, his own personal journey. So it's like, I'm not gonna do that or, like, I don't wanna be awkward. I don't wanna have a bad relationship with my family. Like, none of us, like, live near each other anymore, so that's where it's, like, really important where we should at least be able to communicate, but
You wanna go on to level 2 or do you wanna pull another ice level 1?
well, let's go to level 2.
Okay. So level 2, I already pulled out one. Confessions. What are you afraid to let go of?
Mm. What am I afraid of? What? That's a hard one because, like, I feel like there's not much that I would basically every experience I've had in life, like everything I do, it's like I don't like to live by regrets or live by past. It's like that just drags you down, like especially dealing with like mental health and stuff. But I would say I need to let go of I guess I kind of have a codependency on whether it's our family, like mom or Chris. Um, but I need to let go of that. Because I feel like that validation I'm seeking, like I'm a people pleaser, like I just, I'm overly empathetic. And I need to be able to um I don't know, just be able to be like on my own and have my own separate thoughts and not worry about, well, what is someone else going to think of me? Or, hey, I want this person to view me in, the most positive light possible. So let me sacrifice my own wants and needs to make somebody else happy or to make them like.
Mm,
So, and I feel like sometimes I'm a people pleaser to the point where I lose myself and it becomes like superficial. Um, I'm just, like, really withdrawn and shy, like, in public, but then I have a lot of thoughts in my head where it's, like, the complete opposite of, like, what I'm portraying. Um, like, Chris tells me that I have a huge, like I have an attitude and I'm sassy and I have a lot to say, but if you meet me, that's not what you're gonna see, and it takes me a lot to, like,
why do you think you have that?
um, I guess just I grew up with, just low self-esteem. I just always wanted people to like me because naturally it's like I got a resting bitch face. I don't look approachable. Like if I'm just always looking down and shy, like I never had that confidence. So I feel like trying to people please was my way of getting people to like
Accept
me
you
or
into
to
the
accept
tribe.
me. Yeah, so I feel like I need to let go of, like, depending on that, to have my own self-worth. It's like I I
You're
tell
afraid to let
myself
go of
yeah,
that.
it's like I tell myself, like, my opinion is the only one that matters at this point. Like,
Well, why do you think you're so afraid to let go of that?
um, I don't know because that fear of being alone, that fear of not having anybody, the fear of losing people, if I've had relationships where the moment that you're not useful to that person anymore, they're gone. You know what I mean? The moment I start sticking up for myself, it's like, "Okay, well, you're not around anymore because I'm not useful to you."
Well, I mean, that's just um, life's way of naturally weeding out people who
But
should
I've
be in your
had
life
that
versus
like,
people who shouldn't.
I've had that experience with literal family members where it's like I got taken advantage of, like, so much, and then I just got burnt out, and then when I finally stood up for myself, it's like, "Oh, you're the asshole." You know what I mean? It's like, oh, all of
And
a
that's your
sudden
opinion.
yeah.
And that's your
So,
opinion.
like,
That's what you say. That's
with
that's
me
every
valuing
time
someone's opinion
somebody.
so much
So when I the way I look at it is everybody's entitled to their opinions. Your
exactly.
opinions don't make me though. So whenever somebody says something detrimental to my character or who I am or something that may poke that needle in the side and like I really felt it, that's your opinion and you're entitled to that, but I don't live my life based on your opinions. I live my life based on my own opinions and who I am and what I'm doing to better myself.
Yeah, but that's the hard point that I'm, like, struggling with is that I've lived my whole life trying to seek validation from, like, my mom and my family and, like, you know, because of that fear of being alone, and then when, that has to change and I'm like, "Okay, well, now I have to." I have to weed out those people, and then but who's left after that? And it's been a struggle to find those genuine people that will stick around, like, regardless. So
I
that's
think
the
my
struggle I've
opinion
been dealing
is
with.
it's better to be in solitude and find yourself versus be surrounded by people you don't
Yeah, because
fit
when
with.
it then you're not being genuine to yourself, and that's the one thing I hate. I hate seeing, like, putting on a fake smile or,
Then
like
just be genuine.
I
Embrace it.
generally I am, but you have to like, I have to get to a certain, like, trust level because I'm so guarded of, like, opening up because I don't like, I feel like, if we're not
So
at
you have to
level
trust
I'll be hurt.
yourself.
Yeah, I
So why
just
don't you trust yourself then?
that it just rolls back to that whole low self-esteem, like
I think the best way you can learn to trust yourself is to start going against the grain of what you were always doing. So if there's something that you were always doing, like, okay, that's the past me. What can I do now to trust myself? And I think it comes back to what you were saying is being genuine with yourself, asking yourself, like, do I really want to put up with this? If the answer is no, then don't fucking do it.
yeah. It's just like I guess I wanna seem as normal as possible so that I do, like you said, get invited to the tribe and, like, just, like, feel
That's
like I
natural.
belong.
That's human nature.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't think that's my genuine self. You know what I mean? Like,
Who do you think
I'm,
your genuine self is?
whoever I am when I'm talking to, like, you or Chris, like, I feel like I'm more unfiltered, I'm more open, more confident. So it's just a matter of like, hey, I gotta get to know somebody, but there's so many like, hurdles in the way. How do you get to know someone when it takes a while to trust them? Especially as an adult.
I think it starts
Oh,
with yourself, though. You have to, I think it starts with exactly what you said, but internalize. So
yeah.
I think that's where confidence begins. So when you don't have evidence for what you want to be confident about, you have to look within yourself to find it. Because usually confidence is built through doing something over and over, getting better at it, or
Mhm.
bettering yourself, like what you're doing now.
Yeah.
Like let's say a basic example, somebody who starts day one in the gym is not going to be confident, but
Mhm.
a year later going to the gym 3 5 times a week,
Yeah, consistency
see that
and
same
more.
person a year later, they built evidence they built evidence for who they were,
Mhm.
and now they're a new person
Yeah,
because of that.
like you may not see the change right away or even notice it at all. But then when you go back and compare, it's like, damn, like
You
big.
just have to embrace it, embrace the
I think
person that you're going to become.
I've been taking baby steps. I'm definitely, like, still on my journey. Definitely not who I was, way back when. I did a lot of research. I've done a lot of soul searching. Um, Definitely a lot more confident. Um, and like I said, it's like I just have to let go of some of those things. It's like that codependency that like, hey, like I want to be validated. It's like I don't need to be validated. But those thoughts are so ingrained that I have to always check myself. I have to always, like, stop and think so acknowledgement is one of, like, the biggest first steps. It's like, I'm not in denial about it. I'm willing to, like, seek help if, like, if it's anyone has any, like, you know, tips or anything. So, it's like, definitely just I
Just
need
be
to,
open
like
minded. Yeah.
yeah, be open-minded, be able to, cut that dead weight of, like, if someone is not that person that I'm seeking, that relationship that I'm seeking where it's like, "Oh, I'm only beneficial to you," and then as soon as I'm not, you're gone. So, it's just kinda hard
Mm.
as an
There's so
adult,
many people
like
like that, though.
yeah, it's like as an adult where I don't go out and socialize, like, I got my husband and my kids, it's like just like mommy mode. I work a lot, but I literally work independently. So, there's
There's
not
mommy
really
groups. There's
I
mommy
know.
Facebook
Like, I
groups.
just don't have much opportunity to just, like, spur of the moment, like, connect with somebody. There have
It's
been, like,
hard,
moments
man.
it's like, with having kids, that's, like, the biggest icebreaker. It's like, "Hey, we're all at this event for the kids," and, you know,
Mhm.
so you mingle, you get to know people, but it's like, that's just to me, that's so surface level, and I'm just a deep person. Like, when I talk to somebody, I don't like small talk. I don't like surface level talk. My
Yeah.
hobbies are, obscure, like, I can't walk into, like, a mommy group or, like, some event and be like, "Hey, you like that Dance Gavin Dance record?" Like, no one would know what the fuck we're talking about,
Did
you
you hear the
know?
new Beartooth?
Of course. Yeah, so it's just, like, a combination of my interests, my social anxiety, and just, like, my, exposure to those types of situations is just, like, the perfect storm of, like, I'm hindering myself. So
Yeah, I think when it comes to me, I had a barber tell me because I said the same thing to her. I was like, I don't do surface level. It gives me anxiety.
mhm.
I feel like just weird, and she was just like, "Oh, well, try it out sometimes." And that got me to think that every person you ever meet, you start surface level,
Yeah.
and then
You
you
gotta
get
start somewhere.
and then you get deep, and that's what we crave. So
Yeah.
after that, that's when I learned that, yeah,
Well,
just
cause like,
it's okay to be surface
I
level
I have
sometimes.
been on the opposite side of a trauma dump. I've been the one where it's like, "Okay, I wanna, like, go back and forth with you," but all you're doing is just, like, telling me every
You're
single
dumping
thing about
your
yeah, and then it's
your
like,
like, you're not a
I don't wanna be
therapist.
that person, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to because I have a lot of, like, stuff on my mind and, like, that I wish I could talk about to somebody else besides my husband. Cause like, Chris is literally, like,
Yeah,
that
it's
person.
like you have your own it's like a
Or
trauma
that's
dump
me
is
just
like
well, a people pleaser. It's me being ultra mindful. Like, "Oh, I don't wanna burden you
yeah,
with my trauma." But if it's a mutual relationship where it's like, "Okay, well, I open out about my trauma, and then now you can tell me your shit, and it
the way I
bounces
look
back."
at it is, like, if you're not fully like, I mean, everybody has some baggage, but I
Yeah,
think if your baggage is still pretty full, like, let's say you have a pretty full baggage on your shoulders, and somebody else also has a lot of baggage, it's like
that
think of
can
it, like,
become toxic
visually,
almost.
like, you have a baggage on your shoulders, and then yours is already pretty damn
Why do you
full,
wanna
like,
add to
it
that?
has fucking cans falling out and shit, and then somebody else is like, "Oh, here you go, have some
Because,
of
like,
this."
I'm
It's
already
energy. I see
overwhelmed
it
with
as
my own
energy,
shit.
man.
Yeah,
And if I'm not good, that's why I go through periods of solitude where I don't wanna talk to any family,
yeah.
anybody, socialize. And that's because I'm
You're already
usually when I'm
feeling
in
overwhelmed.
periods of solitude like that, I'm processing it. Like, there was a time, like, when Michael I don't even wanna talk
Oh,
about family
yeah.
too much, but when he was trying to
Mhm.
call me for, like, months, and then next thing you know, we had CPS hit knock
Yeah,
on the door.
that was pretty fucked up.
That was I
But
was processing
to
shit.
to
Yeah.
justify that whole situation, I think you can grasp at it now, but he was coming from a place of concern and love. But he didn't even
Yeah.
know the whole story, so
The
honestly, all
gravity
the
of
like
it, yeah.
yeah. It's like,
That's a
dude, like,
boundary, dude.
I
I
can
think
see
it's
where you care about your girls, like, they're well taken care of, like, there are people in
yeah.
so much worse situations.
That just taught me about boundaries, like,
Yeah,
you have family, you have certain boundaries, you have sometimes you can cross them in dire situations, but 99% of the time, you shouldn't cross certain boundaries.
exactly, especially
Uh,
when you don't know the whole story.
yeah, it's like it's not necessarily in your place to do something like that. So that's how I see boundaries are.
Yeah.
But you ready for another one, or
We'll
you
go
want
to
to do a
number
wild
3.
one?
I'll do it. Well, what is the wild in a certain category, or it's just anything?
I read a couple of them. They're kind of random.
We can
Um,
do a wild, and then I'll do, like, 2 in the number 3s. Are they really, like, deep, deep? Like, I feel like it's been tame so far.
kind of.
Kinda.
Kind of. It's like weird. Some of them are deep. Some of them aren't.
Who told me to be prepared to go deep?
So let's see. I'll just pick one of these, unless you want me to do it random.
Let's do it random.
All
You
right,
gotta
random.
answer at least one at the end after mine. Wait, this is the wild card?
Yeah.
Perfect.
So we. Oh, this is one right here. We both have to reveal a secret about ourselves.
A secret.
A secret about ourselves.
Yes. You go first. That's the bad thing.
I mean, I think I told you something I like. Uh, Childhood trauma, being molested.
Oh, yeah. Is that 100% confirmed?
What do you mean?
Is it 100% confirmed if we ask the other party, are they gonna agree?
See, I've never. I was
You never
always
addressed it.
afraid to address it with like that. It's like closed doors. Like,
Oh. Are you sure?
but I
I
remember it.
think she
And
has an inkling.
what's that?
No, I mean, I think she has, like, she is aware of the accusations, but I think that's just something that it's like, why even, like, bring it up? It's just gonna cause, like, tension. 'Cause, like, y'all have a decent relationship right now, right?
Well, I've come to my process with it was when it was happening when I was fucking.
Well, cause like, I don't even know the details. It's like, was it ongoing? Was it just a one-time
So for
thing? Or there
me, I think it was a couple months of it, and I'm just I didn't. You don't know any better.
yeah,
And some of it I actually had it happen again. I never told this to anyone, but uh the oldest as well.
oldest. For real?
Yep.
Like, how bad?
It was like a couple years later. Um and that's when I knew, like, I've never told anybody. This is one of my deepest, darkest, but it was both of them, both of the. I don't even want to say names or call it out,
Yeah, I got you.
but
I mean, I know
yeah.
what you're talking about.
One was when I was like 4 or 5. Uh and
Well,
then the other one was
some people
like
can
a couple
justify that
years.
as being, like, innocent, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, for me, I didn't
well,
process it. I wasn't really traumatized by it
'cause you
because I
didn't
thought it
know what
was
the fuck
normal.
you're
I
yeah.
thought it was something normal. But then when it happened a couple years later, like it happened with our the older one, uh like 7 or 8. I was like 7 or 8,
So
and
that in that gap, he he knew. Like, that's, like, intent right there, you know what
yeah,
I mean?
you're a teen at that age,
Like,
you
that's, like,
know.
100%. No, cause like, I've
That's
had
something
things
I
on
never opened up to anybody except
Lisa,
my therapist.
our therapist.
That's something I literally only told my therapist.
Yeah, and that's rough, and so for you to be able to, like, s
Have relationships with
Mhm.
them now,
Yeah,
and it's
that's a
like
lot of, that's
there's
taking
this
on your
buried
woman.
thing. Um,
No, because I can relate in the sense of that I'm sure you know the story of, like, my husband had been, ever since he was, like, young, up until his teenage years, up until he was an adult, his adopted father and his adopted sister were basically it was normal for him. It was, like, years and
that's what
years
I'm
and
saying. It's
years,
like
right?
when you're a kid and and
and
adults are doing that, you think
it
it's
creates some
normal.
stuff, like, you become hypersexual, and you go
Mhm.
out and be just, like, promiscuous and shit, and, like but
Or you
also,
get
it could be
addicted, you get
yeah, you fall into drugs, you don't know like, you basically try to, like, drown that pain somehow, because if you don't talk about it, you don't know how to process it. Like, you
well,
can't
for
go and
me,
look
I was
into
never, truly traumatized by it. I just
yeah,
know
I
it
mean,
wasn't
looking back at
okay,
it, now you're like, "Oh, that's fucked up."
and I thought it was normal,
So, you don't think
but
it
back
affected you
then,
for that.
I didn't think it affected me that drastically because I thought it was normal,
Yeah,
and yeah, I wasn't like, "Oh my god," like, I wasn't a victim by it. I was just like, "That shit happened." And
yeah.
that is weird now, like, that I look back on it, that's exactly how I see it, and,
So, would you consider and lump yourself, like, with those, like, quote, unquote, "survivors"? And, like or do you
I
feel like
wouldn't,
you yeah, like,
cause I wasn't
I mean, technically, you are a victim, and it did, like little things, even something that happened when
yeah,
you're 1 years old, that shit can
it
shape you subconsciously.
psychologically,
So yeah,
yeah,
psychologically. So,
it
that's
did a
tough,
little
but,
bit.
like, looking at you now, like, you you never know, you could look at anybody down the street, and they coulda had the same experience or even worse.
Everybody has demons, you can't see
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, like, everybody's just like, you gotta put on a mask almost, and, like, that's what I like to uncover people's masks and be like, "Hey, like, I accept you for who you are." That's why especially, like, why me and my husband are so tight is because we can open up about those, being vulnerable and, like, I like to
And not
listen.
judging each other
Yeah,
about
well,
it.
like,
Yeah.
literally, it was, like, not even 2 or 3 weeks into us dating, and he's just like or I fucking like, my sister me and my sister was having fucking well, adopted, so it doesn't seem like that, but it's still fucking bad. Um, and then, like, his whole dad situation, like, that didn't come up until, like, years and years and years later, and it's caused him to have repressed anger. Like, he was a troubled kid growing up and, but he still loves his dad. He still loves his family. Like, that bond is hard to break because, like, your mom and your dad, like, you wanna trust that they're always, like, your best interest in mind. Um, so it like,
Damn, they're
you
gonna listen
literally
to this
live your
episode.
I mean, what about the conflicting,
They're gonna
like,
listen to it.
lifestyle?
I'm not releasing this
I don't even think I mean, we can edit this shit.
I'm not
Um,
gonna release it.
so
No, I am.
for my, it's not really
I'll secretly release it.
just block
I'll
her.
just post it.
Nah,
No, I'll
like,
just post it without, cause I usually send it to y'all.
yeah, that's
I'll
fine.
just post it without
Um,
sending it to
but
y'all.
for my, what was it? You said deep dark secret? I
No,
think
what
mine
just reveal a secret
oh, a
about
secret. I think mine is more common than I think. I think I'm really weird about it because it gets kinda scary. Um, but don't, like, I don't worry about me, like, I'm fine, I'm not gonna, like, do anything. Um, but I think that I watch so many true crime documentaries and shit where I have, like, thoughts of, "Damn, like, I know how to murder somebody and get away with it." Like, I watch, like, the
Mhm.
forensics and shit, and I'll have these thoughts of, like, what if that guy right there, like, I just fucking killed that motherfucker, and I would know how to fucking, like, hide the body, freaking get out of town, clean up the evidence, like, I feel like it's those thoughts cross my mind so randomly, but so vividly, and
That's
sometimes
a skill. That's
it
literally a
scares
skill.
me. It literally scares me where I'm like, "Am I really capable?" I don't have a desire to, per se, but those thoughts just cross my mind, and it's kinda morbid, and I'm just like, is that, like, normal? Or, like, should I turn myself in now
I
for
don't think
being a
it's
potential, like, killer? Like,
No,
oh,
I don't
man.
think it's not necessarily normal, it's just that's what you consume, so that's what you think of.
Now,
So,
but, like, it's, every detailed step, like, crosses my mind. Like, that shit I don't know.
I think if you have the intent to do it, that's where it
Well,
gets,
when you
like,
think
more
about
bad.
it on the regular like that, what if one day the intent comes along with those thoughts? Like, that I scare myself sometimes with it. but it probably is. It's just like, "Hey,
I
that's what
mean,
I
if you know
control."
yourself enough, you're never gonna do that crap.
If I told a therapist that that's like, "Oh, I have homicidal thoughts," what do you think they would do?
They're
They
gonna lock
report my
you up.
ass? They gonna lock me up? Nah, so, I mean, that's it. It's not as deep as yours because, like, I really I guess the only other, like, personal thing is, like, um, I guess when I was younger, I wasn't I as far as I can recall, I was never, like, molested or anything like that. But, like, I 100% got those vibes from dad that,
Oh,
like,
really?
he was like a fucking child predator.
Predator. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, he would ask me and Stacy, be like, you got some cheerleader friends that I could talk to
I
who
think
are
it's
fucking
a
with MySpace and shit?" Like,
I think it's a generational curse.
yeah,
I
it's like
think
a
it's,
cycle.
I
Like,
think it's like, oh, our grandparents that we never
they
knew,
normalize that shit.
they did it to dad and dad's stuff, and then
Or
dad's
not
uncles,
normalize it,
and
but
then did
it
it to him, and
happened, and
then
then they became,
it's a cycle, yeah.
and I think it's not even 9 times out of 10, it's not even a sexual thing, it's more of a power. It's a power move. It's like, "Oh, like, I have control over you, like, you're submissive to me." Like, you know what I mean? So, like, yeah, there's sex involved or, like, groping, but,
Yeah, I
like,
don't see it like that. I mean, I
that's what
see it, I can understand that, but I just see it like, why would you ever do
but,
that,
like,
man?
my thing is that having thoughts is one thing, and yeah, that's, like, sick to have thoughts like that, but actually acting on it and not caring about the consequences or how you're gonna affect the other person, 9 times out of 10, it's somebody, your child,
Yeah.
your brother, your sister, whatever, like, to not think about the repercussions of how you're gonna fuck them up is, like, so
Mm.
heartless. Like, I don't know, but
Well, if it's 2 kids doing it, like in my situation, like it's
yeah, that's
fucking
what I said.
kids,
It's not
you're not,
justified, but it's not as
fully you're not fully
you can pass it off as like, "Hey, they're experimenting," but that's not 2 consenting parties.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure
exactly.
you weren't like, "Oh, like, let's do th" like, it's not that. This was literally, like, people crossed your boundaries, like, and just hope it's like, "Oh, he doesn't know what the fuck is are."
Well, they
By the
say
time we're 8,
now,
you already know, like,
you're like, your brain is still fully developing until like 25
25?
to 30.
Yep,
Well, now it's like,
they changed the range.
they're like, I guess, researching more. It's like more so 20, like later 20s, like 25 to
Yeah, it was
30.
25 originally.
Yeah, before it was like solidified 25, but now they're like, no, it's 25 to 30. And 30
More
is like
bro.
the new like cutoff where it's like your brain, your frontal lobe, your
Honestly, I feel like life experiences are always, like, teaching you something. You're always growing in some manner. Maybe, like, physically, your brain is, like, matured, but, like, your life experiences, like, you're always growing, learning, like, spiritually, mentally,
well,
whatever.
you have to be open-minded for that.
Yeah, and then
Some people in the world, they close their minds to certain beliefs, and if you don't believe in what they think, then you're wrong. Or
yeah,
I think that's the issue, is a lot of people when they get older, they become more fixed and narrow-minded versus being open-minded and willing to change.
yeah. Right, well, me number 2, number 3,
But it's election day.
did you vote?
I didn't vote
Oh my god, you're all preachy
because I'm not a registered.
Texas voter.
If I did vote, I'd vote for Trump, but I'm not, like, I don't have a Texas ID. I'm not registered in Texas.
We shoulda came to
Um,
Delaware and you have them. Are you I don't even think you're registered in Delaware either because you weren't even 18 when you left. You're barely 18 when you left.
yeah.
Man, I remember I turned 18, right when the year Obama got elected, that was when I turned 18. I fucking voted for his ass. But I was uneducated. It's like, oh, you just like, I hate that. I don't wanna get too political, but it's like, you gotta be knowledgeable. You can't just
Well,
vote
that's
because
how
somebody's
usually
fucking popular.
Teens,
or
young 20s.
they're
So
so
you're gonna be more
impressionable.
progressive.
Yeah.
You're gonna be more progressive as a teen, young 20s, because you wanna change the world, you wanna change how everything are. But the older you get, the more you realize that we have traditions for a reason,
Well,
and that's more conservative.
I mean, if you wanna look at it, both of our parents were conservative are conservative for the most part. And I'm like, that's me, I'm following suit. Um, it's not black and white. I lean conservative, but that's not me on every topic. So
Mhm.
that's why I identify as independent, heavily leaning conservative. So, I mean, I honestly don't like to get too political because people get heated, like, fucking
That's their issue, dude.
I just like the memes
But,
that hung out so long ago. The cats and the
that's
dogs
their own
that
issue,
rule the
dude.
dogs.
Um, what are the toughest demons you're fighting right now? It's
Um,
level 3 deep.
alright, toughest demons. Um, currently, and I think I was kind of alluding to this when we first started the podcast, is I'm at a point in my life where I'm expected to have, like, be, like, fully blown into my career, on that path to, like, being somebody. I know I always gotta tell myself that I'm doing just fine, but, like, you know how when we first started the podcast, I was like, "Oh, how are you gonna introduce me?" Like, I don't have, like, a profession or anything crazy, like, I just fucking like, my job and my job is, like, it's nothing special, so I feel very insecure or, like, I always question myself. I'm like, "Damn, like, I should be doing more with my life right now," or, like, I feel like a failure because I never finished college. Everybody else, I shouldn't compare myself, but everybody else in our family, us 4 kids, y'all all got degrees. You guys are, like, retired military, like, you all got something going on, and I'm just, like, here just I don't know. So I kind of find myself always, like, putting myself down. Like, I'm just damn, like, I had the potential. Growing up, everybody was,
See,
like, saying,
no, see,
"Smart
that's where
one,
you
you
get it
should"
wrong. You talk about yourself in past tense. You
Mm,
need to switch that up.
yeah,
Switch that up. That's all you need to do. Stop talking about yourself in past tense. Talk about
or at
yourself
least or even
now.
comparing people. It's like
No, it's okay to compare. Comparing, you see opportunity and the possibilities that you could become something.
yeah,
That's those mindset switch I had because I was doing that comparison bullshit when I was doing my real estate shit.
uh-huh.
And I seen all the successful real estate people and we're like, and I was working my ass off, man, like every day online, fucking
Yeah,
cold
right.
calling
That shit
bullshit.
I
I
felt for
hated that
you.
shit.
I
I
was like, "Dude,
hated
you've
that
been
shit.
doing it for a year, you don't got a single
And
sale or nothing," like
my pivotal moment with that was I almost had a sale. It was almost $1 million
wasn't
sale.
that the guy where you joked about a sex swing or something?
Yep. It was that guy. And he was like my age too. I was like, bro, you can't take a joke, bro. But uh that was the pivotal moment because like I would have kept going with it if I made that
So that
sale.
shit discouraged you?
It didn't discourage me. I seen it as like I'm not meant to do this. Like this, I tried it for a
I mean,
year.
was that something that you are willing to go back into or just
Nah, I'm all in on podcasting and content and filmmaking and
well,
creating more content and
I
learning.
mean, that's the internal struggle I had was, like, there was so many, avenues that I could've, like, taken with my life, and at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is, like, "Hey, am I happy? Do I have a roof over my head? Are my children fed?" Like, and I'm checking off all those boxes right now. I'm still able to, like, live my life comfortably. Like, I can buy whatever I want. Like, I'm not on the street. I'm not, so that's all that matters. But that whole just having those thoughts, like, constantly are just like I'm not amounting to anything, like, I don't have a profession, um, I don't have a fancy title, I don't have a degree, like, there are people that are way worse off, so, I'm just like, I have to practice gratitude
Well,
all the
it's
time,
what do you value? It's like, do you value those accolades? Do you
and
value those
what's like,
credentials? Do you value those professional
I guess I
traits?
just fall into that, the stereotyping, or
Just
it's like they're
contented. You're
it's
just
just like I
contented.
fall into, like, well, everyone else is, like, you know, people comparing people my age, it's like, motherfuckers are doctors, they fucking have, like, 6 figures, and I'm just like, "Well, would I be any happier? Maybe a little, but is it superficial happy? Is it instant gratification? Probably."
The way I look at it is, if would you be happy doing that kind of work?
Well,
So
that's why
it
I was telling you, like,
mm,
I my work that I do, it fits my lifestyle. It's very flexible, like, as far as, like, the struggle of having 2 kids, like, you have twins, I might as well call my kids twins. They're both toddlers right now. Having that flexibility is, like, invaluable. Like, I can literally call it quits at the end of it, like, before, like, halfway through my day. I can be like, "You know what? My kids are sick, they gotta go get picked up from daycare," or, "I don't feel like working today," or whatever, like, my schedule is completely flexible. And that's something I'm willing to sacrifice. Okay, well, I get paid slightly less than somebody else. Like, but do you have the flexibility or are you at the office for, 80 hours a week?
well, that's part of freedom, right? That's
Yeah.
you have the 3 different freedoms. You have time, location, and money freedom.
Mhm.
And some people, like me, I strive for all 3, but some people are contented when they have, like, one or the other.
Yeah. So like currently, um, I I have all three of those. So at the end of the day, like
You have
I
location freedom,
mhm,
where
I
you could
will
travel to Bali and still.
not I travel for work, so that I mean that counts.
No, location freedom is where
I mean, I don't
it
have a
doesn't
desire to
matter.
go to fucking Bali right now.
No, location freedom is, it doesn't matter where you are, you'll still be making money, or you could work
Yeah.
I had a podcast with a laptop warrior, whatever,
Laptop warrior, what the fuck is that?
laptop, you can
They
run your
work from
business from
home?
your you can run your business. You have a small business that could literally be run from your laptop.
Chris says digital nomad.
Digital nomad. Yeah, I had
Is that
multiple.
what it is?
Yeah, I had multiple digital nomads on the
Digital
podcast, where
nomads.
basically that's location freedom.
Yeah.
Like
I
like
mean, in my head, I wouldn't want to travel too much or live in a vacation type spot because then that takes away the vacation aspect of it. It doesn't feel as special. You know what I mean?
well, from what I've spoken to, it's a balance. It's like you're working there, you're living there, and then on your time off, you can do whatever, explore whenever you're not working.
Yeah.
But
Are you ever gonna get a tattoo?
no,
Never. Why not? I got like my whole
I
body
don't like
covered.
changing my body.
What? My whole body's covered.
I just don't like changing my body.
Don't you go to the gym? That's changing your body. Don't you get a haircut?
I don't like putting external things on my body,
Clothes are external.
like permanent external things.
Literally,
Do I have your undivided attention now?
like kinda.
Kinda, dude.
Dang, tuckling mumble look.
No,
Woohoo. Man, don't you want to learn Tagalog?
not really.
You don't want to. You're not involved in your culture.
I rather learn Japanese or Korean.
Korean is hard, I heard. Either way,
I'll do 2 more questions and then we can wrap it up.
sure. Well, the
So I
last
picked that
question, you got
one.
to do it too, though.
Okay.
Okay.
So I have two here. Which one do you want to answer first? I'll show you.
Is that backwards?
It's backwards.
I'll do the bottom one first.
This one.
Yeah.
Was suicide ever a thought?
Um, Unfortunately, yes. I've actually in my lifetime I had two unsuccessful attempts. Um, they both involved overdosing on medication. Um, the more recent one, um, Michael and Chris walked in on it. Um, and it was a whole mess. They basically forced me to like peek up everything. I was so this is kind of where I can kind of vouch for the how helpful medication is because I had stopped taking I was taking Zoloft for depression and I stopped taking it cold turkey, which is like a huge like you're not supposed to do that. SSRIs and all that stuff. So I stopped taking it cold turkey and maybe a week or two in, it made me completely unhinged to the point where like everything was like I was on edge for like everything. And this particular day, I can't even remember. It was really hazy, but basically me and mom got in, like, a huge argument. She was at my house, and she basically was treating me like shit, and I just felt like I wasn't even human, like I was just like a doormat to her, and I was just like, "Well, if I'm such a burden, then I don't need to be here. I don't need to be like, I'm just, I'm not worth it. Like, if you can't even value my life, you're my mom. If you can't even treat me like a decent, like human to human, like I don't give a fuck. I hate that concept of I'm your mom, so you have to listen to me no matter what. And that's the card she pulls all the time. There's no rolling around it. It's just
Uh,
like, uh, there's like no going around her. It's just like, I'm your mom. I'm right. You're wrong. Like, no justifying it. And that's where I draw the line is where you can't even like treat me like a human being. Like, that's like the basic level of respect to like human being. And basically, we're all just a blur. And I was just like, you know what? Like, you don't want me around. I won't be around. So I literally like chugged a whole bottle, whatever I had left of my Zoloft. And then she watched me do it. She watched me do it, didn't even, like, smack the bottle out of my hand, didn't even, like, call 911, nothing. Like, she called Chris and Michael, they were, like, right around the corner coming back home. And then they literally found me, like, I was, like, passed out, and like, had puke all over myself, and, it was just a really bad situation. Um, and I'm surprised that I can live through that and still have it in my heart to have a relationship with mom. For me to have to, like, go through that and to like, her reaction was like, "You won't do it." Like and then when I really did do it, she still didn't have a reaction of like, "Oh my gosh, like, I gotta save my daughter." It was just like, she literally that's something she says, "You chose this. You chose this. That's your decision." Instead of like, "Hey, I'm sorry. I value you. Like, you're worth more than that." Like, like she basically is like, "You chose to do that." Like, sometimes she can be really heartless, and but I still love her. Still my mom. Like,
what is that? Is that like pride? Is
yeah,
that
do you agree with that? Like, that's something that she does?
that has something to do with like narcissistic pride or something? It's
But just that
like you're
feeling,
too
well,
prideful. You're too prideful
to own up to, like, "Hey, you did something that
to be
made somebody
vulnerable.
feel" you know what I mean? So, essentially, that was one, and then the other one Um, I this was in high school, and essentially, um, I was pretty much bullied in high school. Like I mentioned this couple weeks ago where I was like legit state one of Stacy's friends because Stacy was like a quote unquote popular kid in school, even though she fucking flunked out and like dropped out and wasn't even fucking there half the time. Anyway, um, literally one of her friends, ghetto as hell. We were on the school bus. She was literally fucking using the lighter and lighting my hair on fire. And she was a big fucking girl, twice my size, had a whole fucking crew of people, like, with her. Do you
Just
really think
bullies.
do you
Yeah.
really think that I would have been able to confront them and without getting even more hurt or even more ridiculed? Like, so what I did was I literally cried, but I got my shit and I, like, moved to the fucking very front seat of the bus, and I just fucking rode home, like, crying. And I wasn't even fucking able to, like, tell anybody. Like, it would be my fault. It's like, "Oh, what did you do?" Or like, "What," like, "Oh, why didn't you tell somebody?" Do you know you can't just fucking tell on somebody like that, you know what I mean? The
There's just a
repercussions.
level of there's just a certain level
Or also just
with our
fucking
with
afraid.
our well, there's a certain level with our parent, our mom, that there's just
We never
no
felt comfortable.
sympathy,
Like,
there's no understanding, there's
why go to
no,
somebody for help
um
when you would have to justify like, you would be questioned versus, like, helped. You know what I mean? It's like, well, why? Why did that happen? What did you do? Like, instead of, oh, damn, I'm sorry. What can I do? Like, do you need me to, like, go to your principal, whatever? Like, she never took charge. It's just like with you, and she let you fucking run the streets. Your whole fucking child, you would literally be gone for 4 days. She wouldn't even know where the fuck you were, but she would be mad when you came back. She didn't even call grandmom ever. Like, we knew where you were. She assumed she
I'd
knew
be
where
a
you were.
missing child on the box,
Exactly,
fucking
from the milk carton. So,
I'd be
it's
one of
like,
those,
well,
and she'd see it one day and be
like,
like,
I'm
"Oh,
grateful
TJ's missing."
for I'm grateful for, like, our childhood, we had each other, at
It's
least
different
when we
times,
were
man.
older, but, like, yeah, like, people have it worse, but I wouldn't say we had it easy. Like, there's like, we were provided
All
for.
of our
We had clothes and
financial
shit. Yeah,
basic
like,
needs,
house, but, like,
emotional,
we did not
psychological, we
have a
weren't.
fucking support system, like,
Yeah.
fucking me and Michael were fucking anxious and depressed our whole fucking teenage years, and it went unnoticed, unchecked, like, and we still struggle. We all fucking struggle with mental health. Like, you were fucking diddlered in a fucking
Diddled. Oh my
you
god.
know what I mean? Like, shit. And that shit was unchecked. Like, I'm pretty sure our sister was fucking diddled too by one of the uncle like, I don't fucking know. At this point, I'm starting to think every fucking family has some fucking
Diddler.
cobwebs. Yeah, like,
P. Diddler.
the P different. Got that baby oil.
Fucking
Now I
P.
realize,
Diddler, dude.
I basically that first attempt, no one even fucking knew. I didn't even know if I would
Wait, what was your attempt? What
it
did
was
you
fucking,
do?
I fucking took a whole bottle of Tylenol, like the liquid, like
Oh,
so I felt sick. I felt like basically I just
I don't
passed
think that
out.
can kill you.
I think it can fuck your liver up, like the whole bottle of the, like,
Oh,
liquid
yeah.
shit. But
Like a
basically
liver
what
failure
happened
or
was I
something,
just, like, fell asleep, and I think I slept for, like, a whole day and a half. And I woke
and
up, like,
nobody knew.
nah, I was groggy as fuck.
Where was I at?
I don't fucking know, Grad's house, Betty Lou McKenna's.
How did you feel about that, like, growing up? I wanna ask you,
I
like,
always felt
'cause I
fucking
know we were
great,
close.
but
I
that's
know
the
we were
thing.
close, but then how did you like, what did you do when I was out roaming the streets? Like, what were you
Um,
doing?
I literally felt fucking alone. Like, that solitude, like, forced solitude is, like, the worst fucking feeling, where, like, you feel like you got no I could be in a room full of, like, people, like, our family, we have a big family, and I still would feel fucking alone because I felt nobody understood me, like, nobody, like, got me. Nobody I was hoping that somebody would see the signs because I didn't know how to approach it. I didn't know how I was afraid to talk to mom because then it would be, "Oh, why are you depressed? You're not de," like, basically, like, like, depression doesn't exist.
Manipulating.
It's
Well,
always, like
manipulating, yeah.
it's always a comparison. "Oh, I grew up with 14 brothers and sisters. I wasn't depressed." You know what I mean? I only had 1 pair of shoes for the whole school year, and if I lost my slippers, guess what? I would have to go to school barefoot. You have a pair of shoes, everybody that she would, like, compare, and it's like, "What reason do you have to be depressed?" And I fucking hate that. Like, everybody's story is different, everybody process is
Well,
different.
you
I
can't tell,
agree
like,
with that,
we
but
talked about this the other day ago, you can't tell people how they feel. Like,
exactly. It's my fucking
that
opinion, it's my experience,
but
like,
that's what we grew up with. We grew up with a parent
which is
that
why we were
told us
afraid
how we
to talk
felt
to her. We were afraid to open up about anything, honestly. It's like we were tiptoeing around our
because
emotions.
it's not
We get
valid.
vilified for it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just
That's all kids need, dude. All kids need is to be
validation. It's
validated, their
hurtful.
emotions, to help them process
Even
it.
even how fucking outlandish an emotion is as a kid. All you gotta do is fucking either, like,
Find a way to
gently correct
process
it,
it.
like, accept it and be like, "Oh, man, you feel this way? Like, I'm sorry you feel this way. This is how we can process it." Like, you literally
Mhm.
gotta do one, but I feel like mom was so busy being a single mom,
And she
having
had
to
her
work.
own
Yeah, and
baggage.
then she has her own shit, gone through the like, I understand why there was a lack of it, but now as an adult and she's pushing 60, she should be open to hearing us out about our past experiences and be like, "Damn," like,
Well, that's where I told you where you just have to practice acceptance and
and that's where I'm at. Like, I don't have
let go of the
expectations.
things you can't control.
Yeah, so I can for sure, like, hold on, you see Ollie? Hi, Oliver. Your dogs are ugly. Ooh,
That's
what is the name of your corgi, your new corgi?
Goji and Snooky.
Goji. It's like, where'd you get Goji from? Goji Berry?
Goji Berry because he's a red corgi.
Oh, I'm gonna get a snickerdoodle dog, or what are they called? Golden doodle.
I want whenever they aren't here anymore, I want to get the bigger corgis, the one with the tails.
Yeah. Why? Corgis are weird. They got that peach butt. They
I
got the
love
lump.
them. I love their personality. They're very loyal.
My Oliver is loyal. Man, I had to throw out my couch because he's getting so old that he can't hold it in anymore. It's okay. Well, we had him for, I think he's like 10 years old almost. And
He's coming up.
he has the same birthday as Ariana, so
He's
he's
coming
like,
up on his age.
you think so? What dogs are what, like 10
Dogs, they
and
live like
Mhm.
max 15 years.
Yeah. Man, remember Rocky Nikita? Nikita was fucking neglected as fuck, dude. She had skin scabies. She had glaucoma. And I'm like, damn, mom, when was the last time you took her to the vet? Like, we cared about her, but we're kids. I'm not gonna take her to the vet. I'm only fucking 15-year-old. And
Yeah,
fucking
she.
Rocky
I
died
think
of
she was
her
blind, or was
right,
that glaucoma?
glaucoma with the glossy ass eyes with the like
Yeah,
haziness on them. And then she had scabies. She had patches. She had the most
deaf.
horrible death,
I
dude.
remember calling her name, and she would look the opposite way.
Yeah, she was death. So she's like, what? Where?
Yeah, that
Well,
was sad, man.
man, I miss all our old animals. Like you were always a big cat person. Fucking
I
Pudge,
love all animals.
Argent, or man, you don't like my fish tank. You were like, what the fuck? Like, what is that noise?
That's some reptile shit. I'm not into that.
Nah, I like all the like I got an axolotl. I had like Pac-Man frogs. I got because Chris
I
works
like
for that
farm
mom.
animals.
Oh my god, I want that Highland cow, dude. With the fucking
Kodiak.
yeah. Nah, Chris works at a mom and pop fish aquarium store. So that's how we got into the hobby, and then he was like, "Yo, y'all hiring?" And then like they brought him on. So it's it's the interesting job. Like that's why when I was going back to like talking about career paths, it's like me and Chris are just we're making it, but like we're
You're just
so
contented with
unprofessional.
the work that you're doing. That's
Yeah,
all it
like
is. I mean,
yeah, would I
that's
like to
how a
be
lot of
making
people
more
are.
money? Probably. Like, you love podcasting, it's probably not bringing you in too much money right now. There's a lot of potential there, um, but you love to do it. So, keep going, you know? It's just the formalities and, like, the societal expectations is what sometimes it gets to me mentally. It's like, damn, like, cause you got people talking in your ear. Every other time mom sees a, job opening, she's like, "Oh, apply here." Oh, the you can be a nurse, 5 more dollars. I don't care about the 5 more dollars an hour, like, am I
Yeah,
gonna
but
be
then, like,
happy
what is the end goal? For me, the end goal is doing work that I'm passionate about, that has the potential to
financially
grow,
freedom or whatever you're
that has the potential to have be lucrative, but also just having a sense of that work freedom. Like,
yeah,
I
so that's like, you're willing to sacrifice, like, "Hey, I'm not making as much as
finances,
I could,
yeah,
but at least that's why
doing I'm
'cause,
doing what work that I'm passionate about.
'cause that's where I was talking about, like, with my job, I would be like a freaking chicken with his head cut off, running around if I had to work a 9 to 5 and balance my kids' lives
Because 'cause
and
you'd be
balance being
stuck,
a mom. Yeah,
yeah.
it's like I would have
So
to
you do have some, like, not necessarily the way I describe location freedom, but you have
mhm.
more flexibility in the
Yeah,
work
like, I
that you
can
do.
be where I need to be
Your
whenever.
job is more flexible
And then, Chris's job as well, he basically we tell his job every week, like, "Oh, he needs to leave early to get the kids because 'cause I'm gonna be working late." And basically, he created, I don't know if you know about this with, like, the veterans, disability stuff. He's creating a protected work environment. So, basically, he's allowed to work, but also receive his, VA. And basically, you know how they do, like, I don't know, like Michael, for example, he works, like, something Michael gets 100%, Chris
under
doesn't
the
get 100.
table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, basically, they're very flexible with it, if he gets because Chris suffers from, he's got a whole laundry list of,
I
stuff.
think it's crazy that Chris got that and just from going from boot camp.
Well,
He
because
didn't
it was
really
working,
serve.
it was they shoulda caught that shit at
He
Met,
didn't really serve, dude. You
but
fucking
basically they said, "Well, I agree,
fucking damn, dude.
Stacey gets,
Fucking not even past boot camp, like,
Stacey gets fucking 50% for her hip, and she fucking be
at least
running a
do a
mile every day."
fucking at least do a term, shit.
Well, either way, basically how they rolled it was he had it before he joined. They didn't, like, notify it or nothing, and then him being in the service, like, boot camp, made it worse. So that's why it's service connected. But he's basically been doing what you did, where he's just throwing everything at the book and making it stick. He legit
Yeah, I'm
has
still waiting
migraine.
for my,
So
last one.
I don't know how you pass sleep apnea, but his ass fucking failed that shit. They were like, "Yeah, you don't got sleep apnea." He
I
tried.
have severe. That's the
No,
one
we're
I'm waiting. That's the one I'm waiting for.
so we're how many,
But,
you're going to what, 90 to 100? You're gonna get the,
yeah.
like, Elysian scheduler yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that shit's a blessing though, literally, like,
And that 90 to 100 is, like, double the money.
exactly. So Chris gets, well, Chris has been working with a law firm for his he has a lawyer, to do all the filing and the, appealing. So he basically gets
I just learned how to do it.
yeah, he
I
gets
did hire
80%
somebody,
right now.
but they sucked.
It felt like
all
they didn't
they
do it.
all they did was give me the extra ED thing,
You
and
really
then,
got it for ED,
that was
10%.
it. They couldn't they I was basically doing, like, all the work, so I was just like, "Let me just do
Yeah,
this shit
because then,
myself."
like, Chris's lawyer, he at the end of the day, he wants 30% of the back pay.
Yeah, no.
So,
That's how
now
they
what
do
we
it.
want he
Yeah,
really they're still going through it, but he has 80% now. He started at 30. So
but
it's blessed.
let's go over these questions, man,
Uh,
and then let's close it out. Um, so this last one,
you gotta answer this one too.
okay, this last one before we conclude this second anniversary podcast. It's gonna be crazy when I blow up and have millions of followers, and
Maybe someone's gonna see me and be like, "That girl snatched. I got my chin back." So, I've
what?
been working on it.
You cringe, bro.
Okay, well, we cringed.
No, I'm just kidding. What's a question you wish you knew the answer to?
Um, I think this is gonna be, kinda cliche, but I wanna know what the fuck happened to our dad. How the fuck did he die? That
Nah, I
shit
was just talking about that with Stacy,
yo,
and
that's
it's a
just
you're
fucking
into that
murder
crime
my
shit.
murder mystery, dude.
That's literally he was here for a week,
He
got
he were
married.
married for 1 day and ended up fucking dead, and it took them 6 months to do an autopsy just to tell us he had a heart attack. If he had a heart attack, why would it take 6 months? Shouldn't you be able to figure that out, like, right then and there?
Well,
It was fucking
did
foul
she get
play to the
anything?
she oh my god, she got his house, he had a house, but he okay, so he bought the house, he paid cash for his house. It was like a little rancher, I think, like, mom's, like, 1,400 square feet, had 5 acres of land in North Carolina.
We
Um,
should have kept that shit,
that's what
man.
I'm saying, but the only thing is that so we were all young, we weren't represented from a lawyer, we were grieving, first off. There's a lot to process. Me and Chris had just came from we had to drive 11 hours to get there or something. So, basically, it was foul play as hell because our Uncle Paul was, like, whispering, like, into all of our ears. It's like, "Oh," he was talking to dad's new wife. Mind you, she was the same age as Michael, she was, like, fucking 30, he was pushing fucking 60. That's already shady as it is. Um, but no, he basically pitted us against each other, against the wife. And then he was like, "Oh, I'll set up the funeral, blah, blah, blah." And then you know what he did? He fucking robbed dad's house, took all his guns, took all his valuables, and then fucking dipped. We never seen him again. And then that one, his wife, she had family, in Texas or
Philippines.
something.
He was something about Filipinos, dude.
I don't know, but she had Americanized family who she called and was like, "This is the situation." They lawyered the fuck up. They got her a lawyer, and she basically the how that is kinda dumb because he ran out of money, he pulled from his retirement early, he bought that house cash,
He
took
wasn't
all the
financially
but you know what
smart,
he
I
did?
guess.
He ran out of money, and he had only been retired for, like, 2 years. So he took out a lien against his house. So he basically had to pay I think it was like 50 grand or 70 grand or something against the house. So he was making monthly payments on that, like, loan. I think it's like an equity loan or something. So basically, if we wanted to keep the house, we would have had to pay that basically, like, I think it was like, I don't know, 400
Couple
card. Yeah.
$100.
Mind you, this is when I was working at fucking Walmart, fucking making $8 an hour. Like, I wasn't, and plus,
Well, in hindsight, we could have just rented it out.
exactly. That's what Michael lived the closest. He could have fucking hired a property man. We would have made money back, or one of us could have lived there. A $400 mortgage to live there, I would have done that. I would have fucking moved. Like, shit. But either way, and then this was also when you had a little sea monkeys in the oven, like you were freaking, you had that side conversation. I saw y'all whispering. You're like, if I'm pregnant, what's pregnant? But not so. She ended up. They sold the house for positive equity, paid off that equity loan, and they basically the property became hers. Like she got 100% of that because the marriage laws in North Carolina isn't
After a day
favoring
of
South.
marriage.
Yeah, for a day, and then she also got whatever was in his bank account. She basically got all his assets.
But he didn't really have much.
He had the fucking loan in his bank. So instead of her taking his bank account and then just paying off that loan and keeping the house, she used the profits from the house to pay off the loan, plus she kept what was in the bank. 'Cause
So whatever
he had just
profits,
signed on that loan, so he still had that cash in his bank account, if that makes any sense.
but it's a loan, that's not real
Oh my god,
asset.
it is money, it is cash. When you get a loan,
It's
it's
like a
borderline
credit.
hard. No, it wasn't a HELOC.
You have
It
to
was
pay it back. You have to pay back loans.
oh my god, it was cash though. Like, it wasn't a line of credit, it was an actual, like, lump sum, like, cash a check loan, if that makes any sense. 'Cause,
You still have to pay it back, though.
that's what I'm saying. So, basically, she still had that money in the bank, and she paid it back with the sale of the house. So
And
she
then
kept
kept
that part.
extra.
Yeah, she kept the cash and she kept the,
And that
extra.
was it? That was
Yeah,
worth the death?
and then whatever proper I don't know, they sold like, they literally
That was worth poisoning his shit? No, I'm
I
just
think
kidding.
that's the thing. The whole fucking scenario was so strange.
What do you think? You listen to crime shit all the time.
I think he was fucking poisoned. She was like, "I never seen him take medicine. That man was a severe diabetic. I know he took his medicine." She's like, I don't see him taking any medicine." So he
Were you
just
there?
got
Did you ever meet her?
yeah. Stacy and mom were playing fucking kumbaya with her and all boo-hooing, and I'm like, "I don't trust you, bitch," or, "I don't know you." But either way, and then also so
So
what
what?
like, which mind you, I'm not gonna do that to my family when I die. I'm gonna have a freaking plan. I'm gonna have money. I'm gonna have a will. Um, but we got like what 700-800 bucks between us four. That was our inheritance.
1,000 bucks.
Heartache and like 800 bucks. Like I know you didn't have that much of a relationship with dad, so it didn't like we all processed it different. I still think about it to this day. I'm like, we have some good moments, like, but no, it's like because as far as I know, she ran away back to the Philippines after she got her money. And then as of now, she's remarried to another American guy and she lives like in fucking Colorado or something. So it's like, damn, like, I don't know. It just seems so fucking fishy to me. And it's just a question where it's like, if I could fucking like Ouija board dad and be like, damn, what happened? Like, I know we can't change it, but it's like, at least have that closure of, like, could we have done more? Should we have fought, like, the police department to, like, investigate? Because it's like, none of that shit makes sense. It's like, she tried to say he took, like, a fucking, Viagra or something and it fucked his heart up. I don't like, you know the warnings where it's like, "If you have a boner more than 4 hours, call the doctor." Would he have blood flow, like, too much down there? Like, I don't know. But essentially, it's like I know there was somewhat of a language barrier, but if he was dying, if he was having an active heart attack, why would he hop in the car,
Call
drive
911.
himself, and then apparently he died before the impact, they ran into a
Didn't
house.
he crash into a house?
Yeah, he crashed into a
That's
house.
like some movie shit.
That's what I'm saying. So basically, they ruled that he died prior to the impact,
Yeah.
and then she jumped out the window. So she
The
just had,
fuck?
like, she had some scratches on her face, but she was fucking perfectly fine. And I'm like, "Why didn't you just call 911? There's a language barrier, but if he was able to hop in a car and start driving, he couldn't hand her his phone and dial 911 and have her, like, talk?" Like,
Some people just don't they
that's
don't
why
know.
it's fucking fishy. And then his brother robbed his house after he coached us and was like, "Yo, he was like, "My brother wants to be buried next to mom," like, cause I guess that, our grandma has, like, a plot down there. He was like, "He wants to be buried next to Ma," and then he didn't even show up to the funeral. He fucking, like, ran away.
He just had
No one's
some
about to beat
sketchy
Yep.
dad's whole side was just
It's a mystery.
never knew him.
That's
Never
why
knew any of his side.
I was telling Chris, cause dad did, like, 21, 22 years in the military. I was telling Chris, I was like, "I don't even know about his service." It's like, was he in a war? Like, I think he might have been in the Gulf War. He got out
Well, if he
before
joined when he was, like,
Afghanistan.
20,
Yeah, in the
like,
'80s.
let's say if you joined when you were 20
He might have served Gulf War. He did a lot of that Southeast Asian
in the
countries.
Cold War,
Mom
all that
mom
shit,
swears to God that dad probably has some kinda, love
kids,
child in Thailand or
probably,
military. You've been in the military, you know that lifestyle. That
probably.
when you get to port after you've been on like, you haven't seen the light of day in, like, fucking
Yeah, you
just
just paying
months.
them out.
Yeah, so imagine how many fucking illegitimate kids are out there. We probably have a Asian
Most
type
of them are smart,
of
though. They have, like, all
rap
the yeah, and they have, like, a whole
can be.
stock. They have a
But
Costco-sized fucking stock of that shit.
that's literally the biggest questions. It's like, I would have liked to known more about dad, the way he passed, but also his whole life because that's half of us, you know what I mean? Like, we know so much about the Philippines like, our Filipino family. we probably know too much. Like, I don't need to know
Yeah, I
all
wish I did know, like, her
our
grandfather
roots and stuff.
or
Yeah. Well,
grandma,
because
yeah.
like we were always told, it's like, hey, I was always under the impression that dad's side had like Native American. That's bullshit. I did the DNA
Yeah,
in me.
we
Like,
both did.
we have more fucking British,
British
UK,
UK,
Irish.
yeah.
That's why my daughter, when she was born, she had fucking red hair. Like, I was like, where the fuck did that come from? Like, so it's like I would like to know more, but I wouldn't even know where to start. Cause like who do we reach out to? One of the brothers is MIA. He's a fucking like drifter.
Like a
Some kind of
fugitive.
yeah. You know the Beavis and Butthead, the movie where they see their parents, their dads? That's literally one of our uncles, just fucking
I
drifting.
don't remember that one.
The fucking
I
one where
think
they
I
go to Las
did,
Vegas to do America.
and they, like, look the same. It's like,
Mhm.
"What the hell?"
Nah, so that's the one uncle, and then the other uncle is, like, he fucking disappeared from the face of the earth because I think he knows more than he has something to do with it. I think they put some kind of fucking poison, like Breaking Bad, that one, little drop of grain of rice that could kill somebody, but be undetectable? Who knows? He probably had a meth lab down there, shit. The South is fucking like, the difference between, like, a Southern redneck and, like, the ghetto? It's like, I would rather be in the ghetto than a fucking, like, down south, like you heard of that, like, Florida man? They're always fucking, like, meth labs and shit, no, but not in this
Anyways, is it my turn now to
yeah,
answer?
go.
What's a question you wish you knew the answer to? Um, I don't know. I don't really wish I knew the answer to anything.
You gotta answer it.
Maybe, question you wish you knew.
Why?
Are we in the simulation theory? I don't know.
Oh my god. Now it has to be a real
Um, that is. Like, I always question spirituality. That's a big thing I talk about on my podcast is, spirituality.
So do
Um,
you identify with a religion or no?
no.
I'm the same boat. I would
I
classify
believe in the
myself as an
universe.
agnostic. Like,
I
I
believe
believe in a God, in a
I
spiritual,
believe God is the universe. That's like
but not a physical being like idolatry stuff.
yeah, I don't think it's like any type of idolatry, any type of worshiping one person. Like
It's the
there's
concept of it.
sages, we have sages in every
Like Zelda? Like, Legend of Zelda where they have, like, the guardian or, like, you know what I'm talking about?
that's how religion is. Every religion has a sage. Jesus for Christianity, Muhammad for
So what's at the
Muslim,
middle of that, though?
Buddha for Buddhists, Lao Tzu for Taoism. Uh, Hindus, they have like a
That,
hundred
like,
different
elephants.
gods. The
Yeah.
Hindu is more like mythology. That's like a Hinduism mythology, kind of like the Greeks had their Greek mythology. That's how Hinduism is. They have a different
Mhm.
god for, oh, we have the god of rain, we have the god of earth, we have the god of wisdom. That's
Yeah.
how Hinduism is, I believe. And I believe it's all connected. It's it's the universe. We're all one, and we have these different cultures that shape how we define the one, the God.
Yeah, because
The
they all have similar backstories almost, even though they're, like, different
similar, it's
creeds
just
and all that.
humans, especially specifically the Bible, we distorted it to ways that fit more so to
I feel like that whole, the kids game, it's called telephone, but basically one person starts at one end and says something and they pass the message
that's
along,
it, yeah.
and by the time it gets to the end, it's not even
That's it.
relatively
So then now we have modern day versions of all these
it
religions.
has, like, little aspects of it, but it's not 100% what was really
Yeah.
down.
Yeah. That's what it is. And yeah. So I don't subscribe to like that modern day version of religion. I just subscribe to we're all connected through universal energy, universal consciousness, things we can't see, the quantum physics, the The
Because if
crazy
you
thing,
go ahead.
something crazy that even Joe Rogan brought this up. Uh, so the Taoists and Taoism, they are the original ones that created the yin yang.
Yeah.
This was 500 to 1,000 years BC, so before Christ. They created the original yin yang. And fast forward to today, a quantum entangled picture of a quantum entangled atom. So a
Mm,
physical atom, quantumly, they use some quantum mechanics to combine them, called
mhm.
quantum entanglement.
Wouldn't that, like,
It's
cause, like,
yin and
what
yang.
yin and yang?
It creates
Oh, they physically made it?
a quantum entangled physical quantum entangled atom is a yin and yang symbol.
Really? Like, they looked at, like, so f
They
like, microscopic.
microscopically looked at it. It's
So,
not
basically,
black
the
and white,
universe is
different
created
colors,
of,
like
like, opposites.
quantum entangled energy.
Yeah.
But what blows my mind is that the Taos thousands of years
They were
ago
able to see that?
to see that.
Well, that's where the whole, like, Michael and his conspiracy stuff basically, humans are capable of seeing things at different dimensions and different realities and different whatever realms, but
We lose
he
touch with
brings
that
it
shit.
into, like, something where whoever is pulling the strings, it's like they're limiting our potential as humans, our third eye. Like, I guess he said something about calcifying your, like,
Pineal gland.
pineal gland. Like, something of
Yeah.
the fluoride in the water, don't drink the Kool-Aid, like, whatever. And, that's why people, when they meditate, they're able to access that,
Well, yeah, because your third eye,
purity and
it's
all
what
that.
releases, your pineal gland, also AKA
Do you
third
believe
eye.
in all that?
I do because some, animals, they have eyelids and cornea on their, pineal gland.
Really? What animal?
I don't know specifically, but
Mm,
there's research on I don't know what animal, but they have like a like cornea or eyelids on it.
like an
So
actual third eye, like a legit.
yeah,
I don't
but
know. I think that every living species on this earth has its own, like, natural, senses, and that humans have disrupted that in a
well, I
way.
think your pineal gland also is the cause of why you dream. So it
Mhm.
releases the DMT, um, the same thing that's also released when you take ayahuasca. Uh, it's released by your pineal gland every time you dream, and when you dream, you feel like you're in a different world, right? Like especially if you have a lucid dream.
Well, how come you know, everybody dreams every night, but how come you can only remember sometimes?
Because I think it's like I don't know. I never asked that question, but I think maybe it has something to do with your pineal gland,
Like,
and when
what
it's
makes certain dreams, like, that pertinent that it's like, "Oh, I remember this one," but every other dream you
I
probably
think when
dream
it's
multiple times every
releasing,
night.
when you're actually physically releasing whatever chemicals that create uh, dreams, I think when it closes again, it's like that's it. Like when it closes, that's it.
That's it.
You can't remember it.
Man,
Yeah.
or what about fucking I told you I had fucking sleep paralysis, like, twice in the past couple weeks, and that's just scary as hell. They said that it's a thing in, like, multiple different cultures where they have, like, something similar.
I think it's like demons and shit.
I don't know, I think your mind creates, like, the most fearful, like, scenario, but they said the science behind it is your body your mind wakes up before your physical body, so they're not, like,
Mm.
in tune, I guess. So it only happens when you're either coming out of REM sleep or going into it, and it's, like, a very, like, finite, like, little space of window where it could happen, and they said it's actually triggered, like, by stress. So if you're, like, super stressed out, you're more prone to it, and they also said, younger kids are more susceptible to it. 'Cause, like, oh my gosh, Chris passed it along to Cameron, They have fucking night terrors where they'll be fucking screaming in their sleep. One time that Cameron was like, he looked wide awake, but his ass was not. He was like
Oh,
fighting us. He
damn.
thought we were demons. He didn't recognize us. It was fucking so, it was crazy. Like
Damn.
we turned on all the lights. He was like screaming, like, we're like, it's mommy, it's daddy. And he's like punching, like literally swinging at us. He thought
Like
we
a
were monsters.
psychosis state.
Yeah. And then we looked up, it's like, it's fucking night terrors. And like it
You can
happens
pass that
today.
down.
But Chris passed it down. He literally like,
That's
he
something in
fucking,
your brain. That's like,
fucking
you
like
know, that
punched one of his friends in his sleep because he was like literally like, I don't know if it's like a continuation from like a dream where you're stuck in the dream, but you're like, you can actually
like a
physically move your
nightmare. Yeah.
body. I don't know, but that shit
I mean, you've heard the
scary.
stories, fucking, uh, people sleepwalking and like killing people.
Oh, yeah. How does that even work? Do you still go to jail for murder if you were, like, legitimately you didn't know what you were doing? Like,
Nah, lawyers can fight that.
man, I could not be because you said you had a criminal defense lawyer the other,
Yeah.
guest ago. I could never do that because my conscience,
He worked with
if
the
I
mafia.
damn,
He
said
became a cokehead.
for real? No, but
Yeah.
my conscience, like, I could not defend someone that I knew because
Was
sometimes even
physically
if
like not doing good shit.
yeah. Like, even if all the proof in the world is there, like, oh, like sorry, my mic. It's like, "Oh, I know you did it, all the proof is there." What they do is they fight to get you the least amount of, sentencing. So it's like,
Mm.
"Yeah, you did it, but we'll get you only 1 year of jail," but
But
what?
yeah, because there's limits. There's like limitations to certain degrees of stuff. But
My mic off.
let's wrap it up.
Nope.
Uh, is there anything you'd like to say to whoever's
Um,
listening before we
I'm
close it
kind of
out?
afraid for, I don't know, like,
Listening
every time
before
this
we.
is only the 2nd time, but, like, I don't want our family to hear some of the shit we say
And you
because
do talk a lot about
fucking
this is
I
the
don't
one
know,
that's gonna go
like,
viral.
the more I talk about or talk on here, it makes me seem like I got mommy issues, but I probably do. I'm
I
at
mean, you
terms
do
with
talk a
them.
lot about
Well, because
our
that's my
family when we
past. That's
talk.
literally my past. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that shaped, like, who I am, as a person, but I day by day, I wanna make it less and less of, like, my identity. It's
Well,
like
yeah.
I'm more than a, grown woman with fucking past trauma and mommy issues and fucking Filipino stereotypes and shit.
Mhm.
I wanna, like, rise above that and, like, "Hey, I'm XYZ." Because I know some people, they make their identity like, "Oh, I'm a mommy, like, I'm all about my kids," like or like Michael right now, he's all about religion. Like, he found God,
He's a
God saved
disciple.
him. So,
He's a
like
disciple, yeah.
I wanna be multifaceted in a way where it's like, I don't wanna be defined by, like, this is just
Well, you should never. That's everybody. Anybody who's listening, it's like you're a sister, you're a friend, you're a wife, you're a hard worker,
I
you're
just wanna be a good human being, like, at the end of the day, we're
yeah,
all
it's just
human.
when you get too stuck on your identity, like this is common with champions. They
Mhm.
say like champion fighters like Mike Tyson or Ali or a lot of the
They're so
UFC.
proud of, like, what they
That's
do.
all they did, that when they stop doing that, they can't come to terms with who they are because it's
Yeah,
like,
so they're
"No, I
stuck,
was a
they're like,
champion, I
"What?"
was a fighter, I was this," and that's with anything, like, you can't hold your identity to like, right now, I'm a podcaster, but
Yeah,
I don't fully identify, like, I'm a podcaster and that's it. Like, no,
yeah,
you're a culmination of things, and that's what makes us human.
yeah, I agree. Oh, wait, can you bring your girls on? I haven't seen them in forever, they don't even remember me, do they?
We can do a FaceTime after this, dude.
They are. You don't let them be on the podcast? You should
Not
do a
really.
special episode and interview them,
They're too
like
young.
How young is too young? One more question.
I'm like,
Um, do you plan on having any of the other family members as a guest on here?
um,
I think you should. Well, actually, mom refuses. I asked her because I told her I was doing this. I asked her, she's like, "Why? I don't want to put my business." Like, she's so
well,
afraid of
that's what I'm
people.
saying too. It's like,
Well, that's how she's not open to the idea, I guess.
well,
And it's not
also when you're
even
publicly doing a podcast, there's certain things that you wanna like. It's like what
well,
I've
that's I
learned.
don't
There's
want to
certain
get
things that
subverted.
keep it private, like your private life and your personal
Yeah.
social media life. Like it's common with just any stars, celebrities. There's certain
I
things
mean,
that
they like maybe not like discuss finer details, but it's like, "Oh, I have a wife and kids.
like
They
a
exist."
general, yeah,
It's like,
not
I have
like
a mom and a dad.
not like this is my address, like I live over here and this is
Fucking
where
dox
you can find.
yourself, someone to show up at
It's
your house.
certain there's certain lines when you're in the
Yeah.
public eye that
No, but
like
that's
you
my
don't
biggest
cross.
fear is, like, I don't want something I say on here to be taken out of context when we're talking about those people and for it to cause friction in our relationship. And that's actually that's a their problem. It's not my problem. I'm just speaking my truth.
Yeah,
So,
and that's fine. That's your
but
truth.
that
That's your
but that
expression.
innate fear is, like, still there. I have to
No,
basically
yeah,
talk
I understand.
down out of it because it's all like, I don't know, that I sometimes I feel like the drama that we face in our family is more common than I think, but I just don't I'm not exposed to a lot of different people, so it's like,
Yeah,
feel like I'm
it's
alone in this, but then in reality, it's like everybody has that shit, like, especially the bigger your family is, like, shit. Mom was like she literally, remember how we were trying to decipher who the fuck, got in a motorcycle accident or something? And, like, I don't know who the heck but basically, she feels the need to have to share all that stuff with me. It's like, I don't even know these people. Like, yeah, it's my family, but, like, I never met them, like but she was showing me, like, somebody's, like, head staple. That shit was grotesque, man. One of our auntie do you remember Auntie Tay Tay? The one that had, like, 10 kids, and they're all, like I don't know, but
anyways. Um,
ramble.
do you yeah, what do you wanna tell somebody who's listening?
Mm, I don't know. What do you have to
You
tell?
be rambling, yeah, you like to ramble.
You
You, like, go into one
part of
topic, and then
that's
that
part of
topic
my
opens up
mental health
another
too.
topic, and
I
that
don't like
one opens up a fucking another topic. It's like,
I don't awkward silence, that's why.
it's like you're when you talk, you
Living in
it's
this
like a
space.
web. It's like a web, and then when you
You got
enough of them,
problems
it
with that?
keeps going. It's like focus.
Man,
But, I'll just close it out, everyone. Go follow Sarah if she wants to be followed. Where can people follow you?
um, Instagram, Twitter, formerly known or X, formerly known as
What is
Twitter,
your handles?
um, Nitro underscore spaceship.
Go follow her, and as
You're on
always,
number 3, next year.
next year, anniversary, if you wanna hear her rambling. No, I'm just
Mhm.
kidding. Uh, and as always, stay curious, never give up. You got this.
Gotcha.
Peace.
Bye.